Hello, my name is Davidová, and I'm an independent junior research group leader at the Cluster of Excellence in CDC. And I would lead this course together with Claudia Valverde and Hannah Neba Benham. The course is called COLife, Modern Human Perspective to Codesign, and it would be held together with the students of architecture and urbanism and the students of master planning and participation. Just to explain, this course will be continuation of the course we had last semester. So we would just continue where we stopped, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't sign up if you haven't taken the previous course. It is open for new students, and we mainly expect there will be new students. Where we finished? We finished with the students with this installation. This installation is in Seidenstraße 36, and it is different bird boxes, bud houses, plant boxes, and bird feeders and squirrel feeders. Also the pools for the birds and for insects, also several insect hotels. So that's where we finish, and that course was very much about prototyping. However, it focused on participation, and this installation was co-designed with different stakeholders and of course ecologists, different NGOs, and so on. So just to start with the topic of the course. So Gregory Bateson once asked what patterns connects the crab to the lobster and the orchid to the primrose, and all of them to me and to you. And what we will be talking about is multi-centered design. That means that there is no one designer in the center, but people co-design together, and we will be actually talking about that other species with people co-design together as well. Important to mention, like cybernetician Kenny also said, like there is nothing like a real thing. That means that when you have this multi-centered perspective, and when you have different medias and different cultures, you actually cannot say that anything is really true. That's why we have to have multi-centered design and relate different things together to search for synergetic solution or proposal. And with these synergetic proposals, we would be connecting what is with what if. So that would be the continuation for cross beings co-living, and that would involve humans, other species, artificial intelligence, and like low-tech robots. If I get here, like how do we typically work, and that will be very much how the last year course started first, and that will be also how your course started. We will ask you to draw a minimap about the course, about your goals within the project. It will be collective project. It will be all of you would work together, but every individual would draw a minimap, because that's what I say. If you don't understand what you want yourself, you cannot collaborate with the others, because you become useless in the group, because you cannot communicate what are your goals. So these minimaps are then placed in the gigamap, and there everybody works with the minimap and search for the synergy amongst everybody else within the gigamap, and you search the relations between like everybody's universe within their minimap. Then we typically make some full-scale installation, And after this full-scale installation becomes reflection. And we will actually start from this point within our course, but don't worry, you will be also designing and building objects as well. So this reflection comes, and then again this goes in feedback loops. So we get to, with the reflection, we get to mini-mapping, gigamapping, and the semester after this one we would again build something a bit bigger. So this is an example of minimap, gigamap out of minimaps. That's like minimaps of different people, and they searched for the synergetic solution, and each of the relationship here has its interpretation, and this interpretation is very important to co-design something together. This is how it is when it happens on the table, and this is already from the last semester, where we also combine like this gigamapping. The students worked in a mirror. We would print out the gigamap and ask the stakeholders to draw their points and put their points within this gigamap, and we consulted the designs with the people. This is Leonie Fisher, the landscape ecologist, right? So, for instance, we would have multiple stakeholders from different groups. So this is how it happens, sometimes more natural, and we would do a little bit more of this, like coming into local pub and engaging people for actually producing our designs and put them on their own wall, like a DIY, right? Just to explain what is this research about, and this actually I have to point out that this studio is research through teaching. So you would participate in our research group research, and you would have quite a few benefits because we have some fundings for that or things like that, but we would, from all of you, we would want to have consent that we can use and publish your work. So this is when the explanation is the explanation of the research, like explaining that the interventions, like you've seen on the second slide on the wall, are hyper objective. This is my colleague, landscape ecologist, who is doing seed bombing workshop for local kids with the honey blooming plant. So there will be enough food for the insects. This honey then and they play with it. They get mentally attached to that, right? Because it's their seed bomb. And then this honey is food for the insects within this responsive wood insect hotel. This insect hotel is in fact a fast food restaurant for birds and bats. These are the ones mapped in the location. This was in Prague. What we would do further is that we would insert a QR code on these installations, and this QR code leads to DIY recipe how people can reproduce such installations. And this is something we would be focusing a lot. You would be producing more DIY recipes for people to reproduce, so you would be fabricating as well, because you would have to do some models, but we would not do like our intervention. We would more focus on social systems this semester, and on the interaction, how to make people to DIY our recipes, more like co-designing. So this is just the QR code that leads to my blog, where we typically place these recipes. And this is what we do further on, like take part in different festivals. This is a festival which takes place in autumn, and here we would have like kind of workshops for the kids to teach them how to make bird food, and what belongs to the bird feeding station, and what does not. We would also like make different apps for this ecosystemic awareness, and for also, like, this project was actually quite political. It was about a biocorridor that was in danger of being built up. So we wanted to build local awareness of people understanding that there is something pressure in the area. So that would be different festivals. And what we further on kind of speculated on was blockchain economy, where we kind of think of that we would build an economy where pollinators would be paid for their pollination, and then the pollinators could pay you for doing DIY of our recipe. People could also upload their own recipes, and they could be paid for doing their own recipes, and then we would have like the multi-species economy integrated. What we managed to do. This was in Cardiff, actually, where I was located before. We made an app, mobile app, where it was not blockchain economy but token economy, where you could act on behalf of the species and earn some money for saying this belongs to the fox or something like this. This was small prototype. You can scan this QR code and go to the app. The thing is, you have to make a login, which is a little bit inconvenient, but that's how it is. Then what we started doing in Stuttgart is this is the installation from the last year, and this is a responsive food insect hotel that has its own pollinators garden. And what we worked on is registering whether the pollinator is pollinating through image recognition. It is this part is actually not yet developed, but the idea is that we would develop blockchain app where artificial intelligence would assign value to the pollinators by registering through image recognition that the pollinator is pollinating, and then we would apply something like that to more species. So this was the first intervention just for the insect hotel. We of course had a big party where we introduced the project, introduced the research, and we had a QR code. And yeah, we are very lucky because Maritime Hotel is actually making catering for us, so it is always big fun. We had a dance performance, and this year we would have some live music on this installation, as I mentioned, which we built this semester. And it would be a bit fancy performance on this moving platform, which would be like a gardening party, because we need to plant the plants because we couldn't plant them before. But that is actually the part of the event, that the opening will be gardening gardening community event uh, uh, in the location, and that's where we will actually start when we meet on Monday. On Tuesday, we would straight away start with this opening, where you would also meet the students from the last year, last semester. What we did more and what we would focus on is, and we will continue on, we started collaborating with Dillman Gymnasium, and we made a DIY workshop for the Dillman Gymnasium children and or students. It's actually teenagers. Sorry, and we would kind of continue the collaboration with doing gardening events for them and doing maybe more DIY recipes, a bit interacting with them because the event was very popular. So this is the installation. We will have to put on the plastic bags for the plants and plant the plants, and then suggest them more DIY recipes and give them the QR code to our recipes. Just to explain what this all is about. We need to transit towards post-Anthropocene, which is through the biodiversity and climate change adaptation, and we want to aim for multi-centered and multi-beings design. We are all dependent on our overall ecosystem, living and non-living. However, recent economic models do not reflect it. That's why we are facing Anthropocene extinction, right? You don't have harvest without pollinators, but nobody buys a meadow for the pollinators because nobody pays for that, right? If the pollinator can buy a meadow, it will have a meadow. So we want to discuss the transition from human-centered towards non-anthropocentric, and this should be done through research by design, through feedback loops, by collaborative gigamapping, and we will be using digital technologies such as eye tracking and VR and AR, and through DIY ecosystemic prototypical interventions. That's what we will be. We will be motivating communities and work a lot on participation, motivating people to DIY our recipes, where we would have different levels. We would attract community of the makers that could be a little bit more advanced, but we would also want to make recipes which anybody can do on their kitchen tables, like 10 years old child or something. And we want to do this feedback loops through hyper-objective relations. That's what I discussed when we have these seed bombs with honey. Then we have the insect hotel, and then we have birds and bugs, right? That's hyper-objective relations. So we want to discuss the transition from cities for people, which were defined by Jan Gehl, though I like him, but I think it's a bit outdated. We want to move towards participation of both biotic and abiotic agency, towards one feedback looping ecosystem, and that is something what I call real life codesign laboratory, which is like that we do something in real life, that it is really happening and it is hands-on, and it is not on the poster on the wall which you would present on the presentation day, but it is something you really do and it will be really done. So this real life co-design laboratory vision is a living ecosystem community, low-tech collaborative robots, and tokenized regenerative economy. So this is what I would like to present, but I mean, much of you is open to your own initiatives. So this is the proposal from me, and some of that would happen. But also, I want you to take your own initiatives and uh, intervene yourself. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you are interested in some of this work, you can read my publications on ResearchGate. Thank you very much. Here is the QR code to the ResearchGate. Thank you.